I'm working in Fabriano watercolor sketchbook, which is terrible, but this is another topic for another video. I created a triangle mixing chart starting with 6 squares at the bottom, going up to 1 square at the top, each square about 1 inch. I painted each color in a strong concentrated application because watercolor always dries lighter than it looks when wet. The colors in this limited palette are emerald green, Persian blue, Quin carmine, magenta, cadmium yellow deep, and Daniel Smith Hansa yellow light. To be honest, I rarely do color mixing charts. My mindset is usually if the mix already exists in a tube, why struggle to create it? Especially when watercolor mixes are never exactly the same twice anyway. And as you can see, the color in the tube is not necessarily the same color on paper. That's why swatching is so important. These 6 colors are very vibrant and beautiful, but they already behave differently once they hit the paper. Now I am mixing the colors together roughly in 50-50 ratio just to see how they interact. I am using this ceramic photo frame as my palette. I found it in the craft section at Dollar Tree and I bought plenty of them because they are great for mixing. From just 6 colors, we already get 21 different mixes when mixing 2 colors together. Some of these mixes are surprising good, like this beautiful purple in both warm and light shades, a very bright red when mixing Quin carmine and magenta. We have a couple of oranges and some olive greens. I will be honest, I'm not a fan of these very light green shades in the bottom, but that's a personal preference. What is important here is that these are not pure primary colors, so we naturally get some unexpected or slightly muted results. And that's not wrong, it's just how these pigments behave. Now let's paint with all these mixes. I stamped this flower image from Simon Says Stamp and used archival ink in brown, which is a waterproof ink. To be honest, I love how all these colors work together. They give a very warm fall-like feeling, even though we are using a limited palette. Now, let's move to a next stage, which is developing two colors further. I chose two colors, Persian blue and Quin carmine, and created a chart with 20 boxes, arranged in 5 rows with 5 squares in each row. I placed Persian blue on the side of the chart and Quin carmine on the other. And here is the plan. The top row is for mixing. The middle square is for 50-50 mix. The square next to the blue has more blue. The square next to the Quin carmine has more Quin carmine. And the last 4 rows are for tints. In watercolor, a tint simply means adding more water to lighten the value of the color. The more water you add, the lighter and more transparent the color becomes. And look at these colors, just beautiful. This shows how much range you can get from one mix simply by controlling water. You can absolutely expand this chart further by using more ratios if you want even more variation. Now, let's talk about darkening colors and watercolor. In acrylic or oil painting, we often use black or white to darken or lighten colors, but in watercolor, we usually avoid black and instead use other pigments. One common method is to use complementary color. For example, the complementary color of yellow is blue, the complementary color of blue is orange. When you add a complementary color, what you're really doing is neutralizing the color, reducing its saturation, and often make it appear darker and more neutral. This is not the only way to darken colors. For example, in this fig study, I learned from Anna Mason to use Payne's Gray to darken the color. Payne's Gray is essentially a mix of blue and red. I did not use a purple paint. I use ultramarine blue and permanent rose to achieve this similar effect. There are many correct ways to darken watercolor. It's about intentional choices, not rules. Now, back to my chart. So I used the same 20 box layout. On each side, I painted the original color, then created a tint. In the middle, I mixed the two colors in 50-50 ratio, and then tinted that mix as well. Let's start by darkening cadmium yellow. I added a small amount of Persian blue, and you can immediately see the color become darker and more muted. The more blue you add, the more neutral the yellow becomes. Now on the other side, to darken Persian blue, I added a tiny amount of cadmium yellow, and again the color shifts into a deeper, more neutral tone. Now, here where things get really interesting. This orange I'm using is not a tube color, it's a mix of Hansa Yellow Light and Magenta. When I mix this orange with Persian blue, I am no longer mixing two colors. I am mixing blue, red, and yellow, all three primaries. That's why the results look more muted or muddy. This is not a mistake, it's just a physics and pigment behavior. This is also why many artists prefer single pigment paints. When you mix two single pigment colors, you have much more control and cleaner results. Now let's look at the purples. For a bright purple, I'm going to use ultramarine blue, which has a red undertone, and permanent rose, which has a blue undertone. Neither of these contains yellow, so the result is clean and vibrant purple. Now let's try ultramarine blue and cadmium red. I'm using Daniel Smith paints here. The result is a muted or a muddy purple. Why? Because cadmium red has a yellow undertone. So again, we unintentionally mix all three primaries. This leads to a very important rule of thumb. The more primaries you mix together, the more neutral the result becomes. Here is another example. I'm mixing cadmium yellow and phthalo blue and green shade. And this will give me what? A bright green. We have here cadmium yellow and ultramarine blue gives a dark green or olive green. And why is that? Because ultramarine has a red undertone. Again, we introduce three colors. Let's take another example. Here I'm mixing phthalo blue in green shade plus raw sienna. And this gives us a blue-gray tone. Raw sienna contains red and yellow. So once again, we are mixing all three primaries. Understanding undertones, pigment composition, and complementary colors explains why two charts that use the same colors like orange and blue can produce completely different results. A limited palette is not limiting at all. It actually helps you understand your paints better, mix more intentionally, and create harmony in your artwork. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Saturday.